Welcome back. Let's do a short practice for your shoulders. And today I'd like to play with gravity a little bit. So, in order to do this, let's go ahead and grab a strap. If you don't have a strap, a dog leash works great. If you don't have a dog, any kind of belt or even a shirt that you can hold between your hands, it's about this wide, that would be great. And if you have a spinal strip, you could use that. I'm going to go ahead and use a blanket. Since a lot of people will have one of these, you can even use a bath towel. And what we're going to do with this blanket is accordion fold it. Okay, so I'm going to fold it one way and then back on top of itself several times so that I get a thinner, longer type of blanket that has folds on both sides. And then I'm going to put this on my mat towards the side where my head is going to be. I'm going to come to lie down. So I'm going to bring this bottom folded edge to just a little bit below the bottoms of my shoulder blades, about opposite the base of your breastbone. We want some space below that so my low back is free. And I'm going to then see if I can soften my ribs, bring my arms out to the sides, let my shoulders relax, and I'll just take a few breaths here to see how it feels. To let my body soften around the support that's underneath it. Now, if this is not comfortable for you, you can adjust the size of the blanket, or you can remove it entirely just for the purposes of playing. And that may be a situation where you need a little bit more personalized support. And then after you've rested for a few breaths, really allowing yourself to soften, right, where that's possible, we're going to take your strap or whatever strap-like equivalent you have. Now mine's really long, so I've doubled it just to make it a little shorter. So you might need to do that as well, just so that buckle end is not hanging too much down into my face. And I'm going to hold this strap between my hands. So my hands are about up above my shoulders. I'm going to bring the arms up into space, and I'm going to see about thinking about my upper arms settling towards the floor without bending my elbows. So sometimes we'll do that. It's not that. We're going to keep the elbows the same and just think about the upper arm settling towards the floor. Think about your lower ribs getting heavy towards the floor. Nice, easy breathing. And then we're going to start with a small movement, just going back and forth here, maybe an inch or two in each direction. Just noticing the sensations that you feel as you do that, and see if you can slow it down. Find a nice, smooth, controlled movement here. And then if it's feeling good in your shoulders, you might gradually start to make it a little bigger. And we don't have to go too far in towards the knee direction, maybe a little bit past the shoulders if you want to. But mostly we're thinking about starting to grow the movement little by little towards your head. And pay attention to the sensations in your shoulder, right? So that you can feel what's happening as you move back into gravity, right? You need to support the weight of the arms in gravity. And you'll notice that I'm making these small. I'm growing them very gradually. And I'm really making sure that I feel like I have a good level of control of the movement. I'm paying a lot of attention to sensations. So if you start to get some discomfort, you start to go back in space and it feels like, ooh, I'm not sure if my arms are just going to drop back at this point. Or if you start to go back in space and it starts to feel like, ooh, I don't know if I can bring my arms back up, then you've gone far enough. It's all good. This is not about how far can you reach your arms towards your head. It's just about what does this movement feel like? And can you start to develop a nice sense of coordination between your arms, your shoulders, in gravity, right? In this orientation in gravity. And then when you're ready, you're going to let that strap go to the side for a moment. Bring your arms back out to your starting position and take a moment just to relax and notice what you feel. What happens as you start the movement? Does some little tension release that you didn't even know was there? Does your body want to adjust now that you've done a little movement? Are there sensations that persist, right? And then often a good way to come off of this is just to roll to one side off of that blanket. Use your hands for a little support as you come up. And then I'm going to bring the back of my body to the wall. So you have a couple options here. You could sit or you could stand. Some people are going to feel more comfortable standing with your back against the wall. So that is fine. I'm going to go ahead and sit for myself. I am going to sit on a blanket. And either way, what we're looking for is somewhere around the back of the hips, and somewhere around the upper back is going to be on the wall. And then for some of us, our shoulders are going to naturally want to sit a little bit forward of the wall. And maybe your head is also going to want to naturally sit a little bit forward of the wall. And for our purposes today, I'm going to suggest that you just allow that to happen. So feeling into back of the hips on the wall, upper back on the wall, shoulders and head where they feel the most relaxed for right now. Taking some breaths just to get used to being upright now in gravity. And then we're going to take that strap again between your hands. You're going to take your hands out in front of you. This is the same position you were in lying down, but gravity is different. Gravity has shifted 90 degrees because you have shifted 90 degrees. So we're going to see about if you could take your shoulders a little bit back towards the wall, but in a very soft way, right? So you're not adding a whole lot of tension. And you might already notice here how you're supporting your arms against gravity is really different because when you're lying down, your arms are the lightest in this position. When you're sitting up or standing, your arms are the heaviest in this position. So you might notice, oh, some muscles need to kick on so I don't fall on my face here. And then we're going to do the same thing, small movement up and down, right? Just seeing what happens. And then maybe growing it, starting to take the arms up towards the ceiling. Paying a lot of attention to sensation. So the sensation could be quite different here. A sense of restriction or difficulty in the shoulder could be quite different here, right? And you might notice, ooh, something's going on now with my back or my head or my jaw or who knows what, right? So you may notice that other kinds of shifts are happening. Now, is one going to be easier than the other? Maybe. Which one is going to be easier? Well, it depends. So you're just noticing here, well, gravity's different. How does this movement feel now for me? What can I feel? What can I notice about what's going on? Right? So just tuning into sensations, tuning into your breath, tuning into how this movement feels in this position. Do as many as feels good. So let your body tell you when there's discomfort or fatigue, or when you start getting a lot of extra tension happening. When you notice something shifting in the quality of the movement. And then just let the arms come down. Take a moment and rest. I hope this has been interesting. I like to play with the same movements in different orientations to gravity because you may be able to feel they can be quite different. Ultimately, our bodies need to develop the ability to control movement in different positions and different orientations. We could play with this even more. Maybe we will next time. Let me know what you noticed in the comments, and let me know if you'd like to see building on these movements in more different yoga poses going forward. I hope this is fun to play with, and take really good care.